Okay, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be showing you some basic mods for the Nerf Maverick. The mods that we're going to be doing today are the penny mod, the clip mod, and air restrictor removal. Now, the first thing that we're going to have to do to start modding this is to remove all the screws. They should all be on one side, and there's one hidden screw that's beneath the priming mechanism that should have 3 screws on it itself. And now here we have a top view of the Maverick, and if you look in the kind of in the center of the top of the priming mechanism at the back, we have a small orange piece that goes along with the rail system. Make sure you keep an eye on that and the spring that's beneath it, because you're going to need that when you reassemble this. And now here we have all the screws. There should be 3 small ones and a large number of big ones. Here we have a view of the hidden screw that's beneath the priming mechanism. And here is a view of the internals once you get the covering off. The left we have the actually like is what fires the gun, and then the right we have the cylinder. Here's a more detailed view of the internals on the left. As you'll see at the top we'll have the spring, the catch, the plunger, and the plunger tube. Then here we have a view of the cylinder. As you'll notice at the bottom, there's like some bars. It comes out just by kind of fondling it around a little bit and getting those bars out of their place, and pressing the button on the other side helps a little bit too. But we're not going to jump into that right now. Now here we're going to start looking at the penny mod. As you'll notice on the left, that's where the spring meets the plastic of the blaster. We're just going to be inserting 3 pennies right there. And what this does to the blaster is it just compresses the spring a little bit, giving it some more range. It's not significant, just like a couple feet. But I wouldn't really recommend putting more than 3 or 4 in there, because I think that will interfere with the catch system and the gun won't work. Now we're going to be looking at the cylinder, and at the front of the cylinder where you load the darts, you'll see an orange piece. We're just going to pry that off with a hammer. Shouldn't be too hard, but just make sure you don't lose any of these pieces. I would kind of cup your hand over the orange piece, or do it in an open space where you know you're not going to lose anything, because these pieces do tend to fly out at you. And now we have the cylinder. It's all separated. You have the main cylinder body, the orange piece on the right, and then the orange piece on the left is still intact at the moment. At the bottom you'll see the steel rod that goes through the center of the cylinder. Just keep that intact. Don't take the spring off, don't take the orange piece off, just put it aside. Make sure you don't lose anything, because that needs to be in place when you reassemble it. Then on the right you have the orange piece, and then at the top you have your cylinder. Now, looking at the back of the cylinder, we are going to be taking out the 3 screws. You should find them pretty easy. They're just on the very outside. And once you get those 3 screws off, you'll just open up the back of the cylinder, and you should have 2 pieces, and you'll see the air restrictors and the barrel posts inside there. And these are what the air restrictors look like. Just go ahead and take those out, take the springs out. All those springs do or just keep the air restrictors in place. A lot of people think that they add range or somehow affect the darts firing. They don't. To my knowledge, they just keep the air restrictors in place. And here you have a view of all the internals of the cylinder, and everything on the right you don't really need to keep, but all the things on the middle and the left, we're going to be working with those next. Now here you'll see the barrel post and the disc at the bottom of the cylinder, and we're just going to be cutting off the barrel post with some scissors. It's pretty easy just to cut off of there. You shouldn't have too much trouble. And then when you're done, you should end up with 6 discs that are free of the barrel posts. Removing the barrel posts, what this does is allows you to fire different kinds of darts. Like a streamlined dart won't fire if you don't remove the barrel posts. And these, I'm not sure, but it might add some range. I'm not sure if that's true or not, so don't hold me against that. But if your discs aren't perfect, don't worry about it, because as long as you get most of the barrel post off there, it shouldn't matter. And now we're going to be looking back at the bottom piece of the cylinder, and in the center you'll see 2 small silver screws. All you have to do is just take those out, put those aside, make sure you don't lose them, because they're unique to that piece. And then what you'll remove. Now we're just going to remove this hexagonal piece and scrap that larger orange piece. Later we're going to be putting this hexagonal piece back into the cylinder, but don't worry about it now. And now if we look at the orange piece that came out of the front of the cylinder, what we're going to do now is just take a saw and saw off that small circle piece, because that's the only part that we need. This shouldn't be too much trouble to saw through. I would use a vise just to have a perfect grip on it. There's no danger of cutting yourself. And this is what also allows for the clip mod to work. Next, I sanded it, and this is what you should end up with. Sanding it's not too important, it just rounds the edges a little bit. I think it makes it look a bit better than just having a straight cut. And next we're going to be putting back that hexagonal piece into the cylinder, and we're going to be snapping on those discs. Now we're just going to be putting back together the entire cylinder, and shouldn't have too much trouble. Just make sure you put everything back the way you found it. And the one problem with this is that steel rod that goes through the center of the cylinder. You may have some trouble fitting that through the circular piece at the end. Just use a mallet and get that on there. It's not too big of a deal. And now all you have to do is just reassemble it. Just put those screws back in, and make sure you don't miss anything, and make sure you put it back together exactly how you found it, and you should be good. And here you have a demonstration of the clip mod. Thanks for watching, and drop a comment below if you want me to do anything.